Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got a new Epic 2020 hardtail carbon frame here. It came with, this is the base model, super duper base model. It's the Sram, Jesus Christ. It's the Sram no name, super duper base model here. Out on a ride and the chain broke. Actually, I did a bad shift. Can be considered a bad shift, but it's a shift that I normally do on my old bike, which is another hardtail style aluminum frame. Still had Sram, no, it actually had Shimano parts on it. It was an SLX derailleur and probably a Sram cassette, still 11 speed. So I went to do a shift. I was on a climb. It was an easy climb, but I just had to get out of the saddle for a little bit, and I was gonna do a pass on somebody, and I probably shifted about 3 gears, and it was kind of rough, one of those. Got into the gear, sat back down on the saddle, continued to pedal. Something I do pretty normally. I'm not a big guy. I'm not super aggressive on or hard on my stuff. Never broke a chain, really, that I can say in probably, you know, a few decades. But after that, you could hear a little clicking when it goes through the derailleur. And then it was kind of skipping on some gears. I was trying to tune it with the barrel adjuster on the shifter while I was riding. Tried that for about another 5 miles. It wasn't terrible, but I could hear it. Couldn't get the chain to relax. It still kept making a clicking sound. Finally, we got out back where there was more of a fire road climb. Got off, thought I'd take a look at it, and the chain, the side plates, one of the side plates had bent open, and it was basically ready to break. So that's what I was hearing. I was hearing that clicking going through the derailleur, probably hitting the gear next to it, doing a click click, kind of pushing the chain, wanting it to slip or skip or anything, something like that. So basically called off the ride or the climb right there. We probably had another 2 or 3 miles to the top. Didn't want to ruin the rest of my ride, so I was still hammering on the way out, having fun on the single track, a couple short climb hilly rollers, and finally the chain just broke on a flat portion of fire road, and it hit the floor, and had to yell to my buddy, hey. So I grabbed the chain, had to basically limp it back out. Moral of the story is, it's probably, we got a low-end chain or a low-end cassette and or a low-end derailleur. Most likely it could be any of the above. It could be, you know, once you start going up in models or pricing, of course we're losing weight, where prices are going up, but also we should be getting a better processed piece of material. They're smoothed out corners, chamfered edges for the chain, for the cassette, things that are going to help for a smooth shift, because the chain is going sideways and we just don't want it to smack into that. Chain's going here, we don't want it to smack into that gear. That gear's got to gently grab it and just gently lift it up right onto that next gear, and it should do it seamlessly. Of course, when you go into the real higher end stuff, XTR or Sram XX or X or whatever they have, red, you should be able to still put a little pretty good pedal pressure there if you're in race mode, be able to click or hit that shifter, and the chain should be able to just kind of seamlessly pop over without making a bunch of noise, kind of like mine did. So I think it's a pretty low end steel. It's a real heavy cassette. The chain, I'm sure, is super duper base model. Will going up to the next model and paying a little bit more. I know I'm going to lose weight, but am I going to get better quality? Am I going to get a smoother chain? Am I going to get a chain with chamfered edges that are going to help grab on to this lower stock cassette? You know, so I'm going to buy a better part here that's going to combine with a lower end cassette and still a lower end derailleur. I don't know. Trial and error. Nobody really has the answer unless you just try it out, really. Or you can go to the forum and you can try it out there.